Cool. Well, we are live streaming out to, I was gonna say, like, the metaverse, the all of the verse, right? The LinkedIn verse, the parts of the metaverse, parts of the Google verse. We are live and streaming out there to you folks, and yeah, really excited to kick this off. This has been something I want to put together for a while because I know there's so many digital tools out there that campaigns can be using, and um, wow, has it exploded once again this year in good ways. And yeah, I'm able to share kind of folks, kind of give folks a bit of a framework for what we're doing and the things we're going to be doing through the cycle. Is my name is Brad. I am the founder of the Center for Digital Strategy, and I was the digital training director for the Obama 2012 campaign. But before that, I did all kinds of digital strategy, and I've continued in there. So I was in around through '08 doing field work, and then did a lot of the early new media organizing stuff. And my passion is helping organizations and campaigns make their digital strategy better, right? That was the whole theory of creating that role, right? Was like, hey, can we scale digital strategy training the way we scale digital organizing training, right? And so that's been my passion. We do it in a whole bunch of ways, but specifically here we're really talking about stuff for political campaigns and folks working, but that could mean a whole lot of things, right? We can talk about folks. You could be a nonprofit or doing voter reg or doing issue-based turnout. So this isn't specifically candidate, it could be ballot initiative, all of the things that fit under the umbrella. We're going to be showing you tools, and there's so many tools out there, and they're all changing constantly. Obviously, we're going to have multiple people sharing AI tools here in a little bit. But first of all, I'm really excited and just want to say thanks to Cameron and the team over at Act Blue, who've helped sponsor a lot of our work over the last couple of years to make it. This one's obviously free, and the tool stuff is free. We have a free summit coming tomorrow. And so to help kind of keep prices in a range that like make it possible for folks to attend. So I really appreciate that. And I appreciate kicking off with Act Blue because there are always fly by night things happening in the political campaign space. And then there are kind of like bedrock tech tools that people have built and are responsive, I think, to campaigns and organizations. I know, Cameron, we have a couple of extra minutes for you. So if you feel free, if you want to share any of that kind of the Act Blue philosophy as well. And yeah, I'll let you go ahead and take it away and show folks some of the stuff that they can do with Act Blue this year.
Brad, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for that kind intro. It has been an honor to sponsor the Center for Digital Strategies work over the years. And I feel like it's more than a partnership, it's a sponsor, or it's more than a sponsorship, it's a true partnership in terms of the work you do and how we're able to support it. Hi, everyone. And again, thank you to Brad for that intro. My name is Cameron Hicks. I use they and she pronouns, and I am a training manager at Act Blue. So I get to come into all these exciting spaces, feel this organizing power, feel this organizing energy, and get folks the tools they need. I think the tool showcase is an awesome opportunity to talk about tools new and old, like Brad said, and it's an honor to kick it off. I have a little slide deck to share. Screen share, new tool. Can everyone see this? Brad, can you see this? Maybe. Okay, cool. I think it should be working now. All right. So before I get started, or I guess while I get started, we just ask that folks who are tuning in scan this little QR code. This is the tool that helps us link to you beyond this presentation. If you have questions about Act Blue, if you want to get in touch with your Act Blue account manager, if you want the slide deck from today, please, by all means, scan this QR code, and this will help us get in touch. Perfect. I'm also, Brad, I can also drop the link in the chat once I finish this. So I guess if you have chat functionality, if you wouldn't mind raising your hand or just indicating in the chat, do you have an Act Blue account already? Are you raising money on Act Blue already? We usually have a good mix in rooms like this. Or I guess, have you in the past is also a great question. Oh, Brad, I think you might be muted.
Oh, the trickiness of the internet.
There we go.
Yeah, folks, wherever you are, if you're watching us on one of the live streams, if you do just want to let us know any of those chats, and then I'll let Cameron know kind of where folks are at um, if they're tuning in and using stuff. And so
Oh,
I'll keep an eye
perfect.
on the chat, Cameron, and let you know if we see some folks in there who are already
Awesome.
using ActBlue in their work. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. And also, if you're not raising money with ActBlue already, you might have used it as a tool to donate to your favorite campaigns and candidates and organizations. We are the proud home of the small dollar donor in the political space. I love this little illustration our creative team made here. What is ActBlue? What's going on? I've seen it in so many different contexts. I actually didn't know until I applied for a job at ActBlue that ActBlue is a nonprofit. Uh, Obviously, it's a tech company, but it is a nonprofit because our mission here at ActBlue is to democratize power. ActBlue is the driving force behind online contributions. We are the proud home of the small dollar donor. And what does that mean? It means that no, it not only changes, who elected officials are accountable to once they are elected because they chose to raise money in a grassroots sense rather than the traditional big dollar sense. But I like to say it changes who can run in the first place. You no longer have to be wealthy and well connected to run for office. And I think that the advent is truly made possible because of ActBlue's technology. I always like to say it is a relatively new advent people that we see presidential candidates on national debate stages bragging about their low average contribution amount. That is a new thing that I at least take for granted now. And I'm really proud to work at the company that made that possible. So we like to say we're the infrastructure that fuels people-powered change across the country. So a little bit more about ActBlue. Also, I'm really proud that it's a no contract platform. The only thing we pass along and the way we keep our lights on is a 3.95% credit card processing fee. It's super easy to set up an account. Oftentimes, most people, depending on local legislation around setting up fundraising accounts, can get set up within 24 hours. And over 22,000 groups and organizations and campaigns trust us to process their small dollar donations every single day. We have also raised, I think, over 13 billion or processed over 13 billion on our platform, which I always say is $13 billion worth of optimization. Our tool has changed a lot over the years, as I'm sure many of you know, and we're really, really proud about that. Another thing I want to highlight on this slide is we have 14 million express donors. Express donors is the internal term we use and external term we use to describe folks who have saved their credit card information with us. And what does that mean? It means it makes it really easy to donate again. All right, jumping into why care about small dollar donors at all, because I'm sure if someone offered you $100, you would take that over $5 any day. But the fact of the matter is, when you're building movements, more people have $5 to give than people who have $100 to give. And we've seen the force of the small dollar donor movement as something to not be overlooked when raising money on campaigns. It creates diversified revenue streams, and it also allows you to build over time. Here at ActBlue, we're passionate about making it easy and effective to give online. You have probably seen and interacted with our contribution forms. These are You can create unlimited amounts of them, but they're also all automatically mobily optimized, so there's no need to go into um, the the specifics. There's also really easy branding features. Have also made this super compatible with sharing out on different channels. Your contribution forms, you can add images, you can add custom asks. We call this our social share settings. You can also super easily add a donate button to your website that links out to an ActBlue form, allowing you to fundraise anywhere and anytime. We are also very proud to integrate with payment options like Google Pay, Apple Pay, PayPal, and Venmo. Again, The thesis being the easier it is to donate, the more likely someone will, allowing, again, 14 million people with saved ActBlue Express information to do that with a single click. Those emails that have ActBlue links integrated that say, if you click this button, your payment will automatically go through if your payment information is saved. That's called ActBlue Express Lane, allowing any one of those 14 million donors to donate to your campaign with a single click. We are also super proud of the analytics on our backend. If you're a fundraiser, this will all be of use to you. It makes compliance a real breeze to be able to download data very easily and obviously drive your long-term decision making. We integrate with many popular other technologies, allowing you to make instantaneous decisions as well. And then lastly, or nearing the end here, I won't bore you with all the details, but you can get your money fast. Obviously, we offer wire transfers, we offer paper checks, we offer now direct deposit to all of our entities. So want to offer that as well. And then lastly, we have a QR code option allowing you to easily embed your QR codes in all of your content across, online or print them out in person, but ActBlue allows you to make a contribution form and easily convert it into a QR code. And then if you're a team player, you'll be very interested to hear about our tandem fundraising. This allows you to fundraise with other entities who are on ActBlue. So whether you are getting endorsed by another candidate or a local event happens and you want to fundraise on behalf of a local charity, you can do that all on ActBlue. It makes it easy to split your contributions as well as raise on other groups' behalf. And also, Spanish contribution forms are available. All you need to do is make a single click, and ActBlue can give you the ActBlue provided Spanish text to make your forms more accessible to more donors. And again, all automatically mobilely optimized with your consistent branding, makes it super easy. And if you want to set up a recurring program, which we encourage you all to do, of course, ActBlue is really your tool. It makes automatic recurring asks for you to help you drive your plan and strategy for the long haul. One stat we love to brag about here to encourage you to build robust recurring donors networks is that if folks are a recurring donor, you'll see a 104% increase in expected lifetime contributions, which I find really exciting. And lastly, one thing that a lot of folks don't know about ActBlue is if you have an ActBlue account, if you're fundraising on ActBlue, you have a one-to-one support as an account manager that you can email anytime. And if you want to get connected to that person, again, I encourage you to scan that QR code, but also you can email support@actblue.com and ask to be connected with them. They're great. They're a digital fundraising expert, so they can, review your emails or give you feedback on the format of your website, help you ideate around building a recurring program. They're really an amazing baked-in resource to our platform, so I encourage you to do that. And here are the links I'll leave you with. We've got the ActBlue blog, so you're never alone. We've got that support blog as well if you're having more technical trouble. And if you want to get started on designing your contribution forms, always feel free to check out our form design guide. I can leave it now back to questions if folks have that. You will take a look at the chat.
Yeah, nothing in the chat yet, but
Amazing.
I just want to make sure. Someone says I contribute through ActBlue, but don't receive money,
Yay.
so they're a donor that
You're a
way.
donor.
Yeah,
I love
well,
that.
thank
Thank
you.
you for
Whatever
donating through
causes you're
ActBlue, Jerry.
supporting in campaigns, thank you for being an awesome human, because that's how we make change happen. The Express Donate. And sorry, because I know my brain kept jumbling up the term another platform uses.
No, of course.
Folks should not sleep on that. Like, that is just
Yeah.
so critical. Like, if you are, especially in the electoral space, like if you are
Yep.
a new candidate, a new campaign, um, you using Act Blue to reach out to folks is such a huge shit. Do you all have data on like I noticed I know people give more when they have those simple things set up. Like, is there some data on like how that works for folks and how like how much more they give or the more likely they are to give if they have that set up?
That is a great question. I might have to get back to you with that because I know I read it the other day, but I definitely don't wanna give you a wrong
Yeah, yeah,
stat
no, it's okay.
off the
I'm
top of
guessing
my
though
head.
it's like kind of an impressive thing. You're like, oh yeah, that's like huge. Like I just know from past experience that like when I have worked in an entity and they had that option and even coming in and using that option with Act Blue, it is a huge immediate boost, right? Because
Yep.
um they're already primed to give there. It's a place where they give, it's where they go do their thing, right? And like and not in like a I know people have a feelings about consumption and Amazon and all of that, but kind of similar if you shop on Amazon a lot and Amazon's like, hey, here's this thing you might like, and you're like, oh yeah, I could use that. You're probably going to go make that
Yeah.
purchase way faster than you would anywhere else, right? And so it's a
Exactly,
similar,
it's the same logic.
yeah,
It's definitely the same logic, and also one thing I also note about Express Lane is, like, yes, they are those fancy buttons in your email, but you do not have to be a coder to use Express Lane. It is as simple as, like, copy and pasting HTML code from ActBlue that ActBlue generates for you for those buttons into, um, a Chrome, plugin,
mm,
and it will automatically generate those fancy buttons that you can send out. You do not have to be very, very techy to figure that out. And again, that's something that your ActBlue account support person can help you set up. But I think you'll realize it's easier than it is. We love ExpressLane.
yeah. And I think the support part is huge. Like Act Blue is so big. I think folks imagine it's like this corporate monolith and it's like trying to get support for Facebook ads, which is impossible. Um, not totally impossible, but really hard if you're small. And it's not, right? It's a nonprofit that's
Right.
like, no, our mission is actually to help you fundraise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so much easier than you think. I have some friends in the digital fundraising space and campaigns, and they're like, if you know the basics, you can raise as much money as you need. You really just need a place to process your donations and an email address and a list of people, and
yeah.
you can make it happen.
Yeah, and I always appreciate it. I was surprised on like some of the first partnership stuff we did. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna make sure we share a link so folks know they can book a 1 hour call. And I was like, wait, what? Wait, that's a
Yeah,
lot of time. And it's like, well, we're a
it is.
nonprofit. We're here actually to book time and help people fundraise better. So yeah, I just want to say thanks so much. We're gonna hop over to our next person. So thank you, Cameron, and feel free to or not feel free. Please share all the links in the chat. And we'll make sure we circulate those around. And next, we've got Maya jumping in.
Hi, thanks so much. That was amazing. Love Act Blue, and thank you so much, Brad, for having me and hosting this. This is great.
Yeah, of course. Maya is part of the AI revolution. So I am super pumped to have you here. Maya and I actually worked together in Obama 2012 world, and she's been doing awesome stuff at a bunch of different orgs, but now has founded a new platform. So Maya, yeah, would love to have you jump in and show us what's going on.
Awesome. Well, thank you, and nice to meet everyone. And looking forward to answer, I'm sure, plenty of questions. But I'm Maya. I'm the founder of Battleground AI, which is an AI-powered advertising platform built for progressive candidates, campaigns, causes. As Brad alluded to, been working in the space for a long time. And really saw an opportunity to leverage AI to save us time, resources, and really help candidates and campaigns at every level. So the goal here is really an easy to use platform that allows you to create custom content based on your audience, based on the platform. You mentioned Facebook ads. Lots of nuance across every ad platform that you can leverage in campaigns, and we know that intimately. And you can use multiple language models, upload your own assets for more fine-tuned content, and continue to iterate. We know that the demand for political advertising is only expected to increase. We're going to see a flood of ads coming, and I'm sure a lot of folks on the call are either working in that or running them themselves. And so this is a prime time to leverage new tools to be more successful. This is just a snapshot of Biden's spend on Google. It's going to only continue to increase, and as with campaigns at every stage and every level. But really what we found, and as we started experimenting with AI as it became more accessible, was that the chatbot interface is really not solving our problem. It's generic. We're wasting a lot of time writing prompts, jumping across different platforms and different models to see what works, which is really where Battleground AI comes in. The way the platform works is that you can join today, you can request to join. We're still in a private beta. Obviously, anyone just request to join. I'm looking forward to connecting with folks and talking through it too. Sign up. You can start right away for free. Just start to test your audiences. Who are you looking to talk to? What platforms are you looking to run those ads on? And start to experiment, start to test out different messages across your audiences, across different platforms. You're running Facebook ads, Google ads. See how the outputs work for you. You can save messages, iterate on them, and you can start doing that right away. Basically, the goal really is, as with a lot of new tools, is really to save folks time. On average, about 1 minute and 12 seconds per prompt and per outcome. Just an example, Biden's campaign was running about 5,000 ads in the last 90 days. That's about 50 hours of time that they could have saved just iterating. And in a test that we ran, it lowers cost. Even in a local school board running ads on Facebook, this lowered cost by about 18% compared to non Battleground AI generated content. The tool is really meant for anyone working in the space, whether you're running ads, whether you're running social content, whether you're a comm strategist. You can test and use this tool. You can start right away, and you can see outcomes and outputs. And we've been testing it across different folks, and everyone should be able to jump in and start using it and make AI and the support that's needed for races as we head into the election accessible to everybody. While it's free to get started, there will be some price tiers coming down the line, but the goal is really to make it as manageable and cost efficient as humanly possible. You can use the tool for free. There's some, as we go, some usage charges, but we really want to make it affordable and easy for folks, especially at any level of campaigning. And we have a public roadmap. We are still very early. There's a lot of work to do in the next couple weeks and over the next month, but we're really pushing to get features out quickly, and happy to share the link to the public roadmap. You can see the features that we'll be adding. You can add or request features and even upvote or vote on features that you think would be especially helpful. The goal is really that we want to service folks who are in this work day to day and provide the tools necessary that are most effective when we're in campaign mode. And we know this intimately. Our team is worked in advertising across campaigns, across nonprofits and Fortune 500 companies, both on the data side and on the actual execution. So we're here not only as a platform, but also a resource and a tool. And we want folks to be successful. So you can schedule time with us. We'll be providing resources around advertising. There's lots going on in the space. So we want to make sure that we're informing our users as much as we are providing a software tool. So happy to pause there and answer any questions or go over anything in more detail.
Cool. Looks like we don't no questions in yet. What do we got coming in here? Oh, what was that stat on how much time it saved for creating?
We'll jump back into the screen share too. Yeah, so on average, it's about 1 minute and 12 seconds. Obviously, we're going to be a big piece of this is we're going to be monitoring time saved as a metric in the platform. We are launching sort of a reporting format within the tool as well, so that folks can see the time that they're saving as we get more users and as more folks are creating more and more content. Those numbers are quickly going to shift, but compared to writing and all original and kind of brainstorming and all of the research too that goes into writing those, as folks know, those very character specific messages for advertising. So your 30, your 90 character, your 125 character count. This is really aimed at streamlining that process and saving as much time and resources as possible on that. And I'm also happy to drop in my info into the chat as well, or send you the link to the site, and we'll be excited to see how that time saved improves as we go.
Cool. And someone wants to know what ad products do you have now, and what's on the roadmap?
Yeah, so right now, obviously, this is really fine-tuned to what's accessible for political campaigns.
Yeah.
So whether that's Google, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, those are the platforms that we really want to focus on where political content is accessible and usable. While, of course, we have to go through authorizations, there are restrictions on what platform. Certainly happy to expand to potentially just social as well, but this is really geared specifically towards your ads.
Yeah, for sure. This is exciting stuff. Folks have any other questions? I know there's some good, and I know we have a slight I think there's a slight delay on the live stream, so I'll just give it a second while we make sure make sure we're good there.
Yeah.
Sorry. See if folks have stuff coming in.
Oh, I see. So you asked for a link. I'll drop our website in the chat, or Brad, I can have you do it.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if you can see the other one, but here, let me drop that into the main chat so it goes out to folks. Battlegroundai.com. And someone says, how does it mitigate cost overrun?
So in terms of your actual ads running on platform, so right now the platform is not direct. You're not integrating directly into Facebook Ad Manager. There is, we're always constantly making sure that you're reviewing, you're reading your content. This will not just immediately start to run ads on Facebook for you. While we will have an integration for incoming data from Facebook Ad Manager, we're not auto running campaigns on the platform. Obviously, really important in this space to make sure that folks are still reading, reviewing, making sure that this content is good before you're running your ad immediately on the platform.
Gotcha. Yeah, and folks have some other. Folks have any other questions coming in? I'll just we'll give it another minute just so we can the live stream can catch back up. And
now feel free to share my email. Welcome to reach out if any questions. Happy to schedule calls. Always available.
And sorry, I'm trying to read your last question. Of course, the chat's getting weird. So let me
Oh,
read
no, I see it. Custom
Okay.
audience design. Yeah, so there's an audience builder that will allow you to target your audience. Right now, it's based on demographic information, what you would leverage in a typical ad platform as well. We are, in terms of roadmap, that's certainly an area where we will be working on integrations for whether you have data partners that you're working with or some existing ones, so that we can leverage a more fine-tuned audience targeting for voters as well. And certainly, as you test out the platform, please give us feedback on that area and review the roadmap too.
Awesome. Cool. And it doesn't have to be your last question. If you've got more, that's the whole point of us being here.
Yeah.
The chance to learn about tools and ask more questions. So please don't feel shy if you're asking a bunch of questions. Keep asking. And so, I just want to make sure that you can get the answers that you might be looking for. Cool. Yeah.
And I'll stay on, and I'm excited to see the rest. And please reach out with any other questions too. So
yeah, and we've double checking here. I think one of our speakers is having some difficulties joining. So what I'm going to do, feel free to hit us up with general questions. I'm also going to talk real quick about the free summit we have coming up tomorrow. So where Maya will be joining us again there. I'm just going to set my screen so this comes up. I'll share my screen. All right. And you'll get the slightly logged in view. But what we have coming up tomorrow is the kickoff of the next piece of this, which is the digital strategy summit piece of it. So the idea here is helping folks working on the electoral cycle just get little chunks and bits of strategy. A good chunk of it is geared towards political campaigns specifically, but if you're an organization or ballot initiative also doing work in the space, there will be content for you. There'll be things you can learn and grab from there as well. Currently, the plan is to do roughly one summit each month with some shorter sessions for most of them, like around 30 minutes or less. Some will be a little bit longer. And the idea is one day, quicker sessions, because I know if you're working on electoral stuff, you have zero capacity to start with, right? But picking up new skills and more strategy is super helpful, right? And so that is the complicated nuance that we are in, and figuring out, how do we get people the kind of the resources and strategy that they might need. And Maya, if you do want to hang around, there's another question in there that we can we can chat about too. So we've got this coming up tomorrow, the May 30th one. You can jump in. You can just go ahead and fill this out to get registered. It is a longer registration form because we're trying to make sure folks who are coming in are going to be good actors. So it is a little bit longer, but you also get access to some other resources and things throughout the whole session. And we're going to kick it off once again with a good friend, Cameron. So Cameron's going to come in, talk about an intro to digital fundraising with ActBlue, how to actually use it, some actual strategy on small dollar donor. And this person looks familiar. We're going to have Maya coming up next, Google Ads 101 for candidates and campaigns. So really just the kind of essential jump in there. Actually, since I have you here, Maya, do you want to share anything about the session and what you have coming for folks tomorrow?
Yeah, sure. So I know there's a lot in Google Ads, and we're going to be talking specifically about how candidates, campaigns, causes, again, no matter what your resources and budgets are, can leverage all the tools available, what authorizations look like, what search, YouTube, display ads mean for campaigns, and how to maximize and leverage them this cycle. So I'm really excited. It's a really fun tool. There's a lot to cover in 30 minutes, but really looking forward to it. And I think it'll be fun and hopefully very useful.
Yeah, no, it would definitely be useful. I mean, Google Ads is can be super overwhelming. And so I think just like cut it down to like, hey, here are the things you just need to do for the next few months is yeah, a huge. I actually think not enough, even the very basics of like search. I think not enough candidates and campaigns are just doing the basics on search. And I think what happens, the thing I've seen is I've seen a number of people, someone helps them get set up, right? And all they do is Facebook ads, right? And like Facebook is super powerful, but there's some real low hanging fruit over here you should definitely be doing. So that's why I was like, oh yeah, I'm excited you're going to be doing that one. And those of you just joining, we're just going to a quick overview of the free summit coming tomorrow, and then we're going to jump over with Ashley from Quiller in just a minute here. Social media for politicos, Josh from Reverbal Communications. He directly works with candidates and campaigns every cycle. He's been doing it for many years. He is excellent. And then we have creator relationships with Ashwath from Social Current. If you're not I added in here to his description the term influencer. I know the term creator is still new for a lot of folks, and so we bring it in as creators are. There is a nuanced difference between creators and influencers, and lots of creators are influencers as well. So he'll be talking though about how you can bring them into your campaign work this cycle with more of a lens towards the organizational side. So if you're watching this and you're a little bit more on the org side, that'll be a perfect one for you. And then beyond the horse race, getting more out of your research spend. Change Research is doing some really smart stuff to make custom targeting models actually much more accessible to folks. Those of you who have worked in the political space know that like when someone is actually talking about custom targeting, they're talking about like some real data science stuff. And it's funny. I was listening to this podcast that I love called Perpetual Marketing about digital ads. And they're basically like, oh, I assume they do targeting in the political space, but maybe it's not very good. And I'm like, wow, okay. Campaigns are bad about a lot of things, but like the big campaigns, I mean, there was literally a space in the 2012 campaign called the Data Cave that like got too hot because there were so many servers in there crunching SQL queries. I know nothing about SQL, but I know, right, that you're really crunching some stuff, right? Like they were doing like cutting edge data mapping and targeting in really smart and sophisticated ways. And so, but that's hard. It's hard and expensive. And what I'm really excited here is Change Research is actually trying to find ways to make that more accessible, right? And so it's like all of these tools, it's like how do you pay for the right tools to leverage the resources that you do have on hand, right? And then lastly, big fan of this dude, strategic digital planning templates. So real simple modified templates, kind of based on the main template that I use for digital strategy and planning with some modifications towards political campaigns and just helping you kind of create a framework for planning that all out. And actually, I see you've jumped in. If you want to turn your camera on, we can bring you in if you're ready. And this is actually maybe a great question to both of you. Since you asked, any image generation in the future, and if so, will this circumvent AI generated image disclaimer? So maybe not to you. I thought it was more about AI in general, but this is to you, Maya, about are you going to add image generation to Battleground AI?
There will be an add mockup feature, but it will be your own assets. So, I know there's a lot of, and something we can certainly talk a lot more on in other spaces is just the sort of spotted changes across different states on disclosure and what's happening in the legislature around that. And we want to make sure that we're really adhering to all state policies and making sure that again, all good actors and we're not circumventing and making sure that folks know the rules and have the right tools at their disposal, especially in this cycle as things are very new.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Feel free to hang around if you want. Someone asked, the data modeling is problematically currently, though. It's not good at protecting turnout for voters of color and often leaves out under-investigated portions of the CVAP. I don't know CVAP. I don't know if either of anyone on does, but feel free to expand that. I think you're absolutely right. There are problems in how some folks do data modeling. I think it differs by campaign, and I think it differs by where folks are on their own learned spectrum in the campaign, and you know, are they already taking these things into account? And yeah, when they're not, it's uh the old adage, garbage in, garbage out, right? And so if you've got a team of folks who aren't thinking about that, like, you end up with, you know, you end up with shit on the back end, right? And so and I definitely think, yeah, that's happening out there in campaigns. Ashley, I want to welcome you in, folks. Feel free to keep throwing stuff in the chats wherever you might be watching, whether it's on Facebook or LinkedIn. Ashley, I'm so excited to have you here, coming in from
Hey,
Quiller. We have
hey.
talked with the Quiller team on a number of spaces, and I love the tool, and I love folks getting to learn about it. So go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Brad. Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you
Everyone's
great.
good? Okay, perfect. I've been having some tech troubles as of late. So I'm happy that's working. Well, hi everyone. Ashley Wilson from Quiller. Been with the Quiller team since about October of last year. Quiller is not even a year old yet. We are still very new, but learning so much as we're working with so many of our partners, from committees to nonprofits to candidates and down ballot candidates as well. So what I wanted to show you all today was just how you could like navigate Quiller and what Quiller is all about. So let me hopefully share my screen correctly. Let me see. Um, oh, and am I able to share my screen, Brad? Sorry.
You should be. Do you see the you should see a little
Oh,
bar
now I
there?
see it.
Yeah.
Yep. Just found it. Got it. And cool. All right. So what is Quiller all about? So Quiller is a content generator. So it uses AI to generate content for your political campaigns, for your nonprofit organizations, for your PACs, for your state parties, your county parties. And what we started with was a lot of fundraising email generation. And now we've really expanded that. As we've talked to more people, we've realized that a lot of people are bogged down with a lot of the content generation, not just for fundraising emails, but supporter engagement, SMS, digital ads, petition. So we're constantly creating new types of content that you can generate within Quiller. But that's very focused on our space, right? So Quiller is trained on thousands of fundraising, supporter engagement, and content from the progressive and democratic space. So that's what definitely sets us apart. And so what you see here is what kind of content you'd like to create with Quiller. So again, fundraising email, supporter engagement. We have something called rewrite an existing email, which is if you have an email that did so well that you'd like to rewrite it for maybe a different client, maybe for a different campaign, you're able to do that. And so I'm going to go over to creating a fundraising email. So that way you can see what that process looks like. And it's very similar for all of the content that you can generate within Quiller. And so I'm going to click on here, but I already started to set one up. So hopefully you can see that. I don't think so. Let me actually go and see if that works. Okay, here we go. So over here is when you're about to generate your content, it's going to ask you a few questions. What do you want to talk about? What is the donation going to help solve in terms of the organization? What talking points do you want to reference? Who is the email from? All of that. So I'm going to go here and just put, 24 hours until the end of month fundraising deadline. Uh, donation shows support for our movement. And one of the key things that is, oh, did I put that? Okay, it went away. Donation shows support for our movement. And one of the key things that differentiates us also in regards to other AI platforms is that you really get a chance to customize this. So when it says here, what talking points do you want to reference, you're able to do all of that in the beginning. So when you first customize Quiller, when you first get a chance to, you're going to be able to put in things like mission and goals and talking points and writing samples, and so that way it is able to generate content that sounds like you, sounds like your organization, sounds like the candidate. And so I'm going to put a couple of talking points here, right? And let's see. Just going to put a few things. Who's the email from? You can control for the length, the tone, right? So I'm going to say I want it direct but grateful. The urgency, right? You can put that in there too. And then our goal is to raise $10,000. And with that, you can create your first draft. So within seconds, you'll have a draft that is 70% of the way there. It doesn't take the human out of the workflow process. You still want to make sure you're proofreading and checking everything to make sure it looks good. But at least you're starting with not a blank page, right? That's usually the hardest part. Just like, how do I get started? Well, now with Quiller, you're able to do that. And literally within seconds, you can generate a few different versions, right? That you can look over and make sure looks good. Make some edits and then go back and then be able to finalize. So what we found is that it takes folks that usually takes 2 hour a 2 hour process from ideation to finalization of the content now down to like 25 to 40 minutes. And that's so much time that can be saved to be doing other things, right? So such as like we had one client that did a re-engagement campaign. We had folks that are using the time to go, actually meet with voters and talk to folks. And then we have other folks who are like candidates who are first time candidates who already have a 9 to 5, right? And so they're like, I just have enough time to kind of do some of these things after work and on the weekends and then push it out. And so again, within a few seconds, you get a first draft, 70% of the way there, and then you can finalize and export. You can download, you can copy and paste the draft, or you can push it to one of our integrations. So we currently integrate with NGP Band and Every Action, Action Network, Action Kit, and Google Docs. And so with that, I mean, that's it for now, unless there's any questions or if there's anything, if you would like to see some of that customization, if we have time. So Brad, let me know if we have time for looking over some of that customization portion.
Yeah, we have lots of time. You
Okay.
are the yeah, you're the closer for today's showcase.
Oh, okay.
So
Awesome.
yeah, go ahead and show away. And folks, go
Yeah.
ahead and ask, yeah, throw questions if you have them in the chat. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm super pumped about this. I'll just say, like, when we first started talking about Quiller last year, I was like, oh, this is huge.
Hmm.
I like one of the things I I had shared with Mike was years ago. I had created email templates
Hmm.
for campaigns because I'd found out that there were some agencies. Basically, their job, like, they were just selling templates. Like, all they were doing was getting paid a lot of money to like swap out candidate name. And I'm like, well, why don't we just make some really cheap templates and make them like $20 a month and just tell people, here's where you swap it out, right? So
Right.
instead of you paying all
Right.
this money, and this is like the evolved version of that, right? Of
Yeah.
like in a really
Totally.
positive way, right? Because to me, I was like, oh, these templates are super helpful because you cut the curve, right? You're like,
Right.
oh, you kind of jumpstart it and then you add your campaign content. And
Hmm.
this does that piece for you, right? It
Right.
jumpstarts it. And the the thing that's amazing about it though is like maintaining your voice,
Yep.
and
That's
like
key.
that is huge, right?
Hmm.
Like, because that's where the templates don't do anything, right? It's just like,
Right.
oh, and asking someone to plug that in every time, that it it gets that would get messy versus like,
Yeah.
oh, the tool the tool holds it for you,
Yep.
right? It holds it in this container that just like makes this so much easier for you to do. So yeah, go ahead and show us
Yeah.
some of that. Yeah.
No, totally. And to your point, like being able to the customization and the personalization too, right? Like that's where we're evolving to, where we have to make more personalized ads. We have to make more personalized like relationship building because that's where it's going at, right? There's just so many emails that folks are getting. What's going to differentiate your organization, your candidate, your committee from everyone else that's doing outreach? And then this is what's going to be help you do that, right? Being able to generate a draft so quickly and make those edits, but so now you can personalize them, right? That's something that would take so much time if you were trying to personalize each one of your segment groups. And now you can do within seconds and make those edits. So I'm going to show you what that looks like in terms of the customization. So what Quiller asks is, okay, what is some basic info about your organization, right? So is it if your efforts are statewide, local, national? So this fake organization I created, Green Earth Guardians, is a national organization. And then you're going to put in those talking points. So this is where you're going to really start to train the model on what the organization is all about. So what are the mission and goals of Green Earth Guardians, right? What are some issue areas and initiatives that you will want to talk about? And here's where some of that customization and personalization comes, right? So if there's some folks that are really into renewable energy, you can draft some content that's just about renewable energy. But then if you have others who are really into environmental education, that's another talking point, right? That can be incorporated into your content. You can put as many of these fields as you want. You can also have impact and success. So you'd be able to, if you wanted to talk about those things and anything else you may want to include, you're able to do that. But you can have an unlimited number of fields to capture all of your initiatives and impact and success talking points. And then we have the writing style training. So this is again where we really continue to train the model on your voice. So if you have some examples of emails, social media posts, op-eds, whatever content you feel like really captures the voice of your candidate, of your organization, put those here. You can put up to three, up to five, but we say put 3 to 5 of those, and then you'll ask Quiller to analyze the writing style. Once Quiller does that, it's going to provide a description, and that description is then going to be applied to all of the content that's created within Quiller. And so it's going to use things like the voice and tone, the mood, the sentence structure, transition style, rhythm and pacing. All of that is going to be taken into account as it's generating content for you. Then you have some things like email formatting and style, and then you have some CRM integrations, like I mentioned. So we do have some of these integrations, and we have more to come. Right, we're talking to more folks, learning about what what their workflow is like. Google Docs was added on because agencies were like, "Listen, once we have something going, we usually push it over to Google Docs and get final." Final edits by someone else, and then we're good to go. So that's what the Google Docs integration came from. So if there's any thoughts on who else we could do integrations with or should do integrations with that capture like your workflow, let us know. But yeah, after that, that's really it. It doesn't take too long, but it's such an important and critical part to customizing your workspace and getting it to sound like you. And then once that's there, that's when you're creating the content. So we just released the petitions is in beta right now. That's very new. That's probably like a couple weeks old. We have op-eds, we have digital ads, press releases, and the next ones that are coming out is scripts. A lot of folks were asking about like volunteer scripts, going door to door, and phone banking scripts. So we're doing that, and that's in testing right now. And so it's pretty straightforward. So if there are any questions, feel free to let me know. I don't know what's going on with my lightning right now.
Oh, it's all good, all good. Let me
Mm,
pull up the questions again. Nothing in there yet, but
yeah.
yeah, this has
Mm,
been awesome. I'm a big fan of what y'all are doing, and just the constant evolution. I
mhm.
feel yeah, it feels yeah, you all are doing a lot of really responsive stuff to help campaigns out on like yeah, figuring out how to do this in really smart ways that actually helps people. Oh, and I think we lost Ashley. Yeah, so maybe if you have questions, folks, let me know if you have questions. We'll wait and see if we get Ashley back. If folks do want to jump in with questions, um, and I think we might just wrap it there. I'm not so sure she'll be able to jump back in. So, thanks for joining us. Do make sure you check out the rest of tomorrow. We've got a free summit, several sessions coming in for you tomorrow around stuff really geared towards political campaigns and organizations doing electoral work in 2024. And make sure you jump in. That'll help us know that that we should keep producing more of these tool showcases and these other items coming up through the rest of the cycle. So thank you for those of you who watched live across the different platforms, and please share the video and share the link for the other summits you have to get registered